Okay, last week the mayor of Portland had a short little news conference, about a half an hour, and in it he explained that the rioters that blocked the doors of a police station, set it on fire with people inside of it, was wrong, and he considers it a act of attempted murder. And so you would think, yeah, man, I think he's getting the work, getting the picture here. I think he's finally seen the light. So let's listen to a little bit of it.
I'm compelled to address what happened just last night in our community, what we expect to happen over the next few nights, and the consequences. Last night, 200 to 300 people went to East Precinct intent on violence. The purpose was to attack the East Precinct facility and the people therein. When I say violence, I'm not talking about vandalism. I mean specifically the intent to commit violence against people. Exits were blocked. They were barricaded shut with cars and with 2x4s. Security cameras were disabled, and accelerants were used to set and grow fires. The attack was immediate, it was intentional, and it was planned. It was intended to cause serious injury or death, and it very well could have. After the events I described above, CS gas was used. CS gas was authorized by every agency involved, and its use was consistent with the threshold Governor Brown, Commissioner Hardesty, and I previously established. When you commit arson with an accelerant in an attempt to burn down a building that is occupied by people that you have intentionally trapped inside, you are not demonstrating. You are attempting to commit murder. This is not the first time that people have tried to set fire to a city building with people intentionally trapped inside. Unfortunately, it's not even the second time. And by the way, this building is in a residential neighborhood attached directly to neighborhood homes. This can't be okay. Based on the briefing I received this morning from Chief Lavelle, Superintendent Hampton, and Sheriff Reese, I believe that city staff could have died last night. I cannot and I will not tolerate that. This is not peaceful protest. This is not advocacy to advance reforms or transform any system.
All right, now he sounds pretty adamant there, like he's getting fed up with it and stuff like that. I mean, he's laying the law down. But did you notice in there, the city building was a police precinct? He never called it a police precinct. The people inside, he never called police. He just called them people inside the building. So you can tell within the first 2 minutes that he's not serious. He's just doing this to appease the people because the people are probably getting fed up with it. Let's go down here a little bit and listen to another clip. Let me get it.
Continue to make arrests, and we will push hard and continue to ask the courts to hold people accountable who are arrested having engaged in criminal activity that put lives in danger. We anticipate additional planned attacks on occupied public buildings over the next few days. I want to put a message out to the people of this city. If you are a non-violent demonstrator and you don't want to be part of intentional violence, please stay away from these areas. Our community must say that this violence is not Portland, that these actions do not.
All right. There's another interesting portion. He did say, and this is a 28-minute news conference. And this is the only time he talked about arrest. The rest was more about what he said at the end of this. If you're a nonviolent protester, stay away. If you do come down, please tell the agitators to stop. Like they're going to listen to him. He said about telling the agitators to stop later on in the video. And it's ridiculous. He's just pussyfooting around. Let's go listen to another one. Okay, this is the chief of police. He has a little statement to make. He's waiting to come on.
Go ahead. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Tim. As discussed by the mayor last night's violence by rioters at our East Precinct was incomprehensible. We have people who are intentionally planning to go out and attack precincts, trap people inside, set fires to these buildings. All 3 precincts that we have here in Portland have been attacked. We've had nightly violence where officers get mortars thrown at them, rocks, commercial-grade fireworks, and these senseless attempts to injure officers and destroy police facilities is irreprehensible, and it needs to stop.
Irrehensible, and it needs to stop.
It's not about Black lives. It's not about racial justice. It's not about police reform. It's planned, coordinated attacks on police officers, and I feel that lives hang in the balance. When we're expending resources to go to these different arsons and attacks on the precincts, we're not able to give Portlanders the service that they need and expect. These attacks are really attacks on the community because it's depriving them of life safety services that the Portland Police Bureau needs to be able to provide. Today I was at a community-led event and I listened to members of the Black community and family members talk about the uptick in violence and shooting and the impact it's having on that community. And we're wrestling with 2 very critical incidents going on in our community, the uptick in shootings and also these nightly planned attacks by rioters. So I'm calling on community members, elected leaders to let your voice be heard. Let people know that this needs to stop and that Portland Police Bureau needs to get back to providing the valuable life-saving service that Portlanders expect. And I will pass it to Lieutenant Damon Simmons, Portland Fire.
All right. He's the chief of police. Did you hear anything about holding people accountable? Did you hear anything about arrest? Did you hear anything about we will hunt these criminals down for attempted murder? Nothing. It's reprehensible and it needs to stop. And the people of Portland need to tell the people to stop. Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, there were some questions too. I can't find it. And one of the reporters asked the mayor, have you thought about going to the leaders of these groups and try to negotiate with them or, try to work with them, find some kind of compromise? And he never answered it. He went back to the people of Portland need to get involved. The people of Portland need to do this. He never took any credit and said nothing about taking care, getting with the leaders, and having maybe the leaders tell their people to stop. Had nothing. He had nothing. So, last soundbite. It's going to be a little early, but all this concern and all this terrible things that are going down on Portland. The mayor's final words, his last statement, is unbelievable. Just listen to it.
Accountable who are engaged in criminal activity and bring these nightly activities to a close. One last point I want to make, and this is a political point, so it's a little out of field. Don't think for a moment that if you are participating in this activity, that you are not being a prop for the re-election campaign of Donald Trump, because you absolutely are. You are creating the B-roll film that will be used in ads nationally to help Donald Trump during his campaign. You don't want to be part of that, then don't show up.
All right, thank you, Mayor Wheeler. Thank you.
28-minute or half an hour news conference. 2 statements about holding people accountable. Nothing about going after these people. Nothing about taking care of the problem. Just mostly saying it was wrong and it needs to stop. And then his very last statement, he finishes up with, this is helping Trump in his re-election. Well, yeah, and you need to stop doing it because you're helping Trump, is essentially what he said. I can't believe that he was more worried about helping Trump use the videos to get himself reelected than to taking care of the actual crime. People, it's crazy. Have a good night.